It is enough that you change and your world will change. What does healing mean? Recognizing that all evil comes from you and is selfish. There's nobody to blame for what comes out of you. When you realize that you are selfish and evil, the healing begins. Noticing your negative thinking saves your life. Acknowledgement is redemptive. The society in which people have no love and seek only the welfare of the form and the outward is dying as fast as it can, calling the forces of heaven alone to destroy it, and they will ruin it. Without content and value, the form falls apart. Ego, that is self-interest more than you need, is the devil and hell. All problems come from condemning others. We make ourselves our gods, and then we want to kill, so we attack. Because by blaming, we see ourselves as different, and then we can strike. We make a distance to strike. Attachment is dependence on a devil. You serve a devil. And when you relate to self-interest, in the same way, you serve the devil because that's what ego is, the desire for more, for perfection. For example, wealth, pleasures, security of life, convenience, and more than we need are devils. That's the problem, you don't know how to stop. Up to a certain point, pleasure sustains you. After a certain point, it becomes destructive. When you accuse someone, it's not true what you tell yourself. Pleasure addiction brings fear of loss. The thing you cherish most is constantly moving away from you, or you lose it. Freedom from egoism is freedom from the bondage of pleasure. The ego itself is a devil. To serve it is to serve a devil. The ego and the fall from heaven put the body and the world first. The restraint of self is liberation from the mundane, the human, and its union with heaven. Always yield more to your good. You don't need it. It will pull you down into the underworld and not let you up, and you will suffer. Understand, anything more than you need will torment you. It's the torments of the underworld. Why do you always want them? I don't know. Stay without me. Don't think about yourself, what you've done, or what you'll do. You will oppose the divine if you don't let yourself be led. Only when you surrender to him, do you reveal yourself as divine. People get too caught up in the human, and it takes away their soul and their life. Living too long in the human, the body degrades faster because the parts accelerate time and entropy. The human takes away our life. The joy of the body is the suffering of the soul. When we live as sublime beings, we lose interest in the mundane. Don't stay too attached to the senses, or you will die sooner. Ignorance is holy. The world is thought. We cause our suffering by selfishness. When you blame the outside, you make yourself a devil on the spot. And you lose touch with the divine. Stay in love and do what you want. The unhappiness from the front is your very negative thinking and blaming others. We talk about people and blame them, but it all starts from us. Someone does a bad thing to you because it is already in you. The unkindness that comes to you is your very unloving. How do you know something is coming from the ego? Because there is violence there, there is a claim, a reproach, a blame. The divine being is infinitely gentle and kind. It comforts and sustains life. It is gentle and withdrawn and peaceful, whatever it is, and it is soft as warm bread. She is in the mood for no malicious word. Be careful. If you express negativity, then you can be sure things will end badly. Don't go in and out of a discussion with accusations that you're hurting yourself. You are making an onion-like energy ball in your brain, which, over time, will add other onion-like situations and turn into illness. Do not blame, but take it all on yourself. Do not speak evil, for you bring trouble and sickness upon yourself. When displeasure or pain comes, it means you have thought evil. The ego gets angry and enraged, and everything it says is invalid. It is full of evil. If you have love and do everything for others, you fulfill everything. Today's trouble and unfulfillment Failure, or sickness is your negative thinking. It is yesterday's badness. If you remove negativity and condemnations, your world and body heal. It hasn't healed yet because there are old blames there. Until you replace them with love, no medicine can save you. If you don't solve the cause, the disease will rise to a higher level. Healing the soul is healing your body and your world. Through dedication, the gate of heaven opens, and healing takes place. When we attack the other, we attack all, the universe and God. Be indifferent to life. This is love, indifference to the mundane and to the human. Please don't take it seriously and let it pass you by. People meet and are attracted by resemblance. It is enough that you change, and your world will change. They only learn through suffering. What you have not accepted will repeat itself. Hardships teach you acceptance and humility, unconditional love. Diseases come from greed for life. What happens to you comes from you, and you can't resent anyone for who you are. The people who go before you are like that because you are like that. Can you understand that? When you blame the other, what you are saying is not true, because you are speaking from the ego, which does not exist, for it has no existence. Be careful that every action of yours is without self-interest. Then, you will succeed in everything. Only he who can give up even his life for his neighbor truly loves. Success comes from giving. The more you give without expectation, the greater will be your fulfillment. He who looks outside for solutions to his problems cannot love. If things are going badly for you, you are not giving enough care, attention, and love, and you are not serving people enough because you only receive what you give. The more you give, the more you get. You get sick because you see guilt and evil in the world. The disease is your mean, negative thinking. You get sick with evil. When you think negatively or you condemn people, it lowers your energy and the energy of reality, and everything breaks down, and trouble comes to bring you down quickly. Negative thinking takes away the energy and life of others. The thing you can't easily detach from will cause you harm. Evil is falling from heaven. Heaven is infinite goodness. Do you love people no matter what? That is heaven, your love without reason and end. You get there in place and according to what you are. When you blame the other and defend yourself or fight for yourself, you make yourself your God and become a devil on the spot. You have to give energy to get energy. When you seek your righteousness, you're wrong. When you yield or accept, you unite with the divine. Man has to reach the ultimate emptiness through perfect self-emptying and maintain his calmness with sincerity to observe the growth and blossoming of all beings. Only in this way can one understand the law of nature. All things and beings will eventually return to their source. This process is called peace. Peace means a return to the original nature. This holy nature from the beginning is the eternal law. To know the law of nature is to be free. He who ignores the law of nature will be reckless and, therefore, will call misfortunes upon himself. To understand the constant law of nature is to be generous. To be gracious is to be impartial and never to take sides. To be unbiased is a supreme and majestic quality, which means being free from conditioning. Being free is the very nature of Tao. But Tao is eternal. When the physical body dies and is gone, Tao remains the sole master over all. But if dissatisfaction, anger, rage, or hatred has arisen, what you tell yourself is not true, because it comes from a self that does not exist. The ego has no existence of itself. Therefore, it does not exist. It is a lie, and therefore, whatever it says is not valid. Only what comes from the sublime being within us is accurate because it is only love, whatever it is. What you think now makes your future and your position in the hereafter. Everything you are matters. To blame the other is to wish to kill. When you blame them, You elevate yourself and thus make yourself your God, convinced that you are right and thus wrong. When you report yourself, you are subjective, and what you tell yourself is untrue. Or, if you condemn someone as a person, you are always wrong because you are looking at things from the position of a self that doesn't exist, and then everything the self says is a lie. You can know where you will be on the other side by how you behave today. People look for explanations externally because they cast blame, but it all comes from their relationship with God. When you cast blame on people, you make yourself your God and become a devil on the spot. Man demonizes himself because he relates only to self-interest, and that is why he judges and wants to kill. He who expects nothing from anyone and wants nothing is the strongest. With him is God. And whatever he does will succeed. When you have claims, it is not true what you tell yourself. But when you give them up, you unite with the divine being within you on the spot, and your life situation radically changes. Do you realize that if uniting with the Lord means yielding, giving up, and surrendering yourself? Why don't people want him? You have a choice between fighting and defending yourself, which means choosing the devil, or giving up, which means choosing the Lord. Which do you choose? What do people choose? To fight, attack, and defend. They choose discontent, anger, blame, and reproach, so they choose the devil. Why would you always want that? Can you understand? It can't be understood except by the fact that identifications are made in reverse. Somebody has made a religious program by which he has made the identifications backward, false. He has reported everything to the body and not to the soul. Hence the struggle and the defense. And that's how he threw the world into the hands of darkness. Little is the greatest wealth and presence of God. When you relate to yourself, to your righteousness, and seek your good, you are always wrong. Why? Because the self does not exist. You are relating to something that has no reality of its own. Everything speaks about you. You don't even think about the past or future of the world. When you accuse others, you make yourself the devil. When you seek your righteousness, you shut yourself off from heaven. Ego is like a dark cloud. Nothing in the world is absolute. If you make it absolute, you destroy it. Whatever you make absolute, you will lose. Whatever you love most in this world will be taken away. We look for causes in the world, but in this way, we increase our misunderstandings. The cause is a relation to the divine, not to the world. The depressed man is without God. He has severed his link with God, and he is not getting energy. He is a very selfish man. The evil man will attract only trouble. Find peace and love, and all will come into harmony by itself. If you don't accept humiliation, you become aggressive. But if you don't mind, you find heaven. The evil that comes to you purifies you. You never have to resist it. Acceptance alone takes you to heaven, but fighting, resistance, and defense bring you down to hell. If you react, you are given an even greater purification. The displeasure comes when you have no vital energy left, and it comes to help you, not kill you. The man who does you harm, does you the greatest good, gives you life and future, and charges you with vital energy. Better thank him. You must do God's will in everything. Don't defend yourself. Pride kills love and the soul very effectively. The proud man judges, accuses, cannot forgive, cannot accept, hates, and thus becomes the devil. Only through love are sins erased. If you don't love, you will have problems in your personal life and with your body. If we give, we receive energy. When you restrict human happiness, divine love increases, you gain life, and your fate changes. Surely, everyone would want to restrict their sense of happiness, because they want more good for themselves. But you are others. You must want all good for them, not for yourself, and then all good will be with you as a common being. Understand? Love destroys your self-righteousness and self-interest, convenience, wealth, and stability. He who wants plenty, justice, security of life, and the happiness of the senses cannot love. He is concerned only with himself. When you criticize, you make yourself your God and are wrong. If you defend yourself, you will succeed in nothing, and your actions will end badly. Let that be clear. Moreover, you cannot rely on the one who defends or fights and can betray or rise against you at any moment. Why? Because he puts the world, meaning self-interest, above love. Because he fights for his ego and defends it. And it shouldn't. The ego should be allowed to disappear, to die, and do nothing for it, that is, for the self-interest of more and better, that it will kill you. When you blame your neighbor or scold and judge him, you make yourself the devil. Because wealth, pleasure, comforts, and savoring attach man, he becomes aggressive. They make him miserable, so he rebels. Then, he rejects love and cannot forgive. Love is health. Want nothing more of this world that will bring you suffering. Stay detached. When a man has the horned one in him, he cannot accept humiliation. He is easily angered and jumps out at him. You can't say anything to him. He gets mad. Then he has the devil. The man who forgives you whatever you say nasty things about him and is very lenient with you whatever you say or do to him is an angel on earth. This is the measure of faith. It is the measure by which a man accepts whatever happens to him without rebelling, fighting, or defending himself. Only he has faith. The one who loves you no matter what. Be like the sandalwood that perfumes the axe that wounds it. Man, when he attacks, blames, condemns, or seeks the pleasures of the senses, no longer wants to be healthy and things to go well with him. He wants evil to do and to suffer. He wants his death and that of others. For when he expresses his evil he has already become the devil. His evil is the suffering that will come to him tomorrow. But through wickedness, he loses massive energy and can only change through suffering. Then, he will call trouble and sickness to bring him down. He calls them himself. You need not punish a man. He punishes himself. Everyone throws himself into the well. Every lie will have to be paid for someday. An opening will have to be closed. Any time man can stop thinking evil or doing it. We live what we think. Wealth and pleasure bring the will to kill and death. And that's why humanity is going to the abyss alone, and I don't know if anything can save it. The moment it fights and defends the interest of more and better for itself, it is defending an untruth. That means it is already dying and losing life energy. This is the apocalypse. Why would you want that when nothing is left and you take nothing? And everything passes away. The world is nothing but vanity. Are you fighting over vanity? To the extent that you restrain and give, you get more vital energy. Happiness comes from giving. If you don't give, you can't be happy in life. Not wanting the world is the greatest possible happiness. And what to give? Care, attention, a smile, a hug, a word of appreciation and gratitude, anything. The hardest is the one who gives up and doesn't fight or defend himself. Why? By accepting or giving in, the gate of heaven opens, and you receive the energy of life. So you are not interested in fighting for yourself, but only for others. Fragments bring you suffering because everything in this world doesn't last, and that's why you can't rely on anything. You can't have any expectations. Everything flows. To have a beautiful life, you have to have no inner weapons, that is, no negative comments about anyone or anything. And then you will be only love. Love is the absence of evil. Love is the absence of pleasure. You waste your vital energy when you indulge in a craving you are not loving. You love only when you give energy and make a sacrifice. Love is when you restrict your pleasures. Pleasures and lusts destroy and kill you because they take your energy. And because you become aggressive, you drag your loved ones along with you. They suffer when you suffer because you begin to take their energy. Badness or pleasures cut the connection with heaven, and you don't get energy, so you take it away by upsetting people. You're being mean to people to take from their lives. It's stealing energy. You're meant for not giving enough energy, care, and attention. You took too much and gave too little. The world has no reality of its own. Do you want nothingness only to lose it? If you care about the world, you start to suffer because it takes energy, and you lose your life. It's only when you self-limit or detach that healing begins. The level of love or goliosity determines life and death and where we will take our place in the afterlife. Don't judge, don't get angry with anyone, that you will start killing. Criticism is the desire to kill. Anger, attack, or discontent is the desire to kill. The soul purifies itself by suffering and restraining the body. Illness arises to block you from judging people and thinking negatively. The body lives only in love, and malicious thinking kills it. When you attack people, you strike yourself. To feel God, you must lose the human or let it go. Whatever happens to you has a purpose and is a help from above for the evolution and cleansing of the soul. Nothing is evil. In the early times of humanity, Tao existed in its unique nature. And people carried it within themselves, but without knowing it. He who acts out of virtue and honor is inferior to the Tao. The worst is to do something out of fear. And the worst is to act out of distrust. This is because man does not have enough faith and, therefore, does not trust in the fulfilling forces of heaven. Tao's nature is different from the world's custom. He performs the natural act of virtue without acting. Just as if people were to do something without any effort or intention, they would harmonize with the nature of Tao.